What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I am going to be bringing you my final update review for Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is pretty sad to say, but unfortunately with this being the final update, there won't be any more of these reviews in the future. There is a lot of content to go through in this one, and obviously just a lot of other stuff to talk about with it being the final update too, so without wasting any more time, we are going to jump right into it. So, starting off with probably the biggest section of the update, which was the original trilogy being added to Supremacy, and I won't lie, I'm actually so happy with this from my playtime so far. You guys probably know by now that I'm not the biggest fan of Supremacy. I think it has a lot of issues with it in certain areas, and to be honest, I just don't really enjoy playing it at all, at least up until now. With the OT maps not having the capital ship interiors, I think it actually makes the game mode far better than it is with those capital ship interiors, just because it doesn't drag out for hours on end. Rather, it's literally just the first team to get to 100 points, which is exactly how it should be. So that change alone, despite the fact that I would love to see Imperial Star Destroyers in the game, is actually a really solid change for me anyway. Now, in terms of all the maps, we got Scarif, Hoth, Tatooine, Yavin 4 and the Death Star, and from my playtime so far, all of these actually work really well for Supremacy, and I really don't have many issues with them at all. Scarif is without a doubt my new favourite map in the mode, and quite possibly the game overall. It's not only that it looks great, but the layout for the map is just awesome as well. It all seems to be really well balanced and spread out evenly enough that it's not too chaotic, yet it's not like you're always far away from the action or anything either. So I am definitely a big fan of Scarif. If I do have one tiny complaint about it though, I will say that I wish they just didn't make it kind of foggy or smoky, whatever it is, but rather they went with a full-on sunny version of the map with just a bit more of those vibrant colours, as Scarif is arguably one of the best looking planets in all of Star Wars, and I do wish they just showcased that a little bit better in this map. However, it hardly looks bad at all, so that is mostly just a bit of nitpicking. The only other tiny complaint that I have is that a lot of the bushes and shrubs around the map kind of get in the way, as you can't move through them, so sometimes they kind of block your path a little bit or cause you to bounce around on top of them, but again, it hardly ruins the gameplay, and I'm sure I'll just get a little bit better at navigating the map after a bit more playtime. Outside of that though, honestly, I am in love with Scarif so far, and like I said, it's probably my new favourite map, so big props to DICE for that, as it was something that a lot of people did ask for in the community. Moving on to some of the other maps, Tatooine is definitely my next favourite of them all. I always knew that Tatooine was just so well built for Supremacy due to that urban layout, and after playing it tonight, I definitely am very happy that we got it for Supremacy, even despite the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of the game mode overall. If I had any complaints, it would really only be that it might be a little bit too close and not spread out enough across the map. For example, the D post and C post are literally close enough to throw a grenade from one side to the other, but again, it's not that big of a deal, and I really did enjoy my playtime on it so far. Yavin 4 was another map that I've really wanted to see arrive, and yet again it does seem to work really well for the game mode, which is great to see. I actually just uploaded a Yavin 4 concept for Supremacy like 2 days before we got it, and funnily enough I actually predicted 2 of the command posts, and the other 3 were essentially in the same sort of areas but just squished together rather than being spread out like I had them, so I do actually really like the layout of the map. I did play a game on Hoth earlier as well, and despite not really liking Hoth in GA, I actually really like it so far in Supremacy. However, it is probably my least favourite of the maps that I have played, since it is just still a little bit too open for my liking, causing the snipers to just run amok, and vehicles are just still stupidly OP, but even despite that, the gameplay was still very enjoyable nonetheless. Unfortunately, I haven't yet played a game on the Death Star, and so I can't speak on that just yet, but it is one of my favourite GA maps, so I'm almost certain that I will love it in Supremacy as well. Overall, I am very pleased with the addition of the Age of Rebellion into Supremacy. I love the fact that it's essentially now just a true conquest mode where there's no other objectives, and despite a lot of people not being happy about that, I do think that it's great, and it actually does entice me to keep on coming back to play some more Supremacy. Now, moving on to the next biggest section of this update, and that was the abundance of new skins that we got, which I think might actually be the most we've ever gotten in a single update, other than obviously that huge Clone Wars update from about 18 months ago, but other than that, I really can't remember getting so many new skins all at once. First off, in my opinion, the most requested character for a skin since launch is Darth Maul, and finally we have got the first Darth Maul skin, and might I say, it looks absolutely amazing. Now, yes, it is locked behind a challenge for right now, so it will be probably quite a while before any of us unlock it, as 5,000 kills is going to take a hell of a lot of time, but I do actually like that they kept that, as it just gives us all something to play towards, and I guess it's just a reason to keep coming back to the game. So personally, I actually love that, and I cannot wait to unlock it. For those who are interested, I will actually be making a guide on how to get kills faster with Darth Maul in order to unlock the skin, so keep your eyes peeled for that one if you are looking to unlock it. Now, next up we got another skin that was very highly requested, and that is the Rise of Skywalker Palpatine skin. Now, I'm going to be completely honest here, and I'm probably in the minority, but I think this is very lackluster, and it really is just the same as the regular one, but with a red line down the middle and a slightly different coloured face. I would have much preferred to get a prequel era skin for Palpatine, like his Chancellor outfit or something along the lines of that. However, I actually don't really play Palpatine anyway, and therefore I don't really even care too much, as I wouldn't be using it anyway. So overall, I'm not too worried, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think this skin is fairly boring. Next up, there are the two new Rey skins, and on one hand they are barely any different, so I'm not going to praise them too much, but on the other hand I absolutely love the yellow saber. So even though the actual skin isn't different, I really love this skin, and considering the previous Rey skin was already my favourite in the game, this is actually probably my new favourite skin, as weird as that sounds. Her hooded skin is not my favourite, to be honest, but I do think it's pretty cool, and I'll probably equip it from time to time just for the sake of changing it up, so again, not really any complaints there. In terms of how it's unlocked though, I actually love that it was locked behind an Easter egg. I thought this was just so well done, and it felt like a great little nod from the developers to give us sort of one last little challenge. So despite the skin not being anything special, honestly I am so happy with how they did that, and it probably makes the skin feel just a bit more special than it would have been otherwise. Now, if you haven't figured out the Easter egg yet, then just check out my latest video, as I do actually have a full guide on how to unlock the skin very quickly. We did then get the Kylo Ren appearance as well, and again this one is pretty much just a very small change, and I much prefer his regular Rise of Skywalker appearance anyway, so I'll probably never use this one, but for those of you who do like the hood on, then I'm sure you will probably enjoy it nonetheless. Lastly, we got two new trooper skins as well, being the Shore Trooper and the new Zabrak skin for the Specialist class. Now, the Shore Trooper is probably one of, if not the most requested Imperial skin, and same goes for myself too. So I'm actually so happy that we finally got these bad boys, and I'll probably exclusively use these for the rest of my life in this game. As for the Zabrak Specialist, these look way better than I thought they would, and again I think I actually probably will use them almost exclusively from here on out. So that is pretty much it for the content in this update. There were obviously a lot of tweaks and changes and stuff like that, but I won't dive into all of that too much in this video, just simply because a lot of those changes do take a long time to figure out if they're good or not, and so it's not really fair to judge straight off the bat. Overall, the update for me is a pretty good one. I haven't run into any bugs or anything yet, so on my end it's been great, but I have heard a few people saying they've had a few crashes or the matchmaking is messed up or whatever, so it's hard to tell as of right now, and like I said, we probably will find out how it's gone over the coming weeks. If I'm going to be completely honest, I do wish that since this is the last update, it went out with a bit more of a bang. I really wish we got some more GA content, because that mode has essentially been abandoned since like November of 2018, and still to this day I think it is just as popular as Supremacy or Heroes vs Villains. So it is sad to see it go without any more content, but at the same time I wasn't really holding out hope either. Like I said, being the last update, it felt like it could have been a little bit bigger, but at the same time, with the coronavirus going on and the whole Battlefield thing happening, it does make sense, and despite my wishes and wants for the game, I can hardly complain with what we've been given in this update. So overall, I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10, and honestly, maybe even an 8, simply because of the Easter eggs scattered throughout, and I'm very thankful that DICE did take the time to turn this game around. It is very sad to see support end, but I am going to do my absolute best to keep on putting out content and keep trying my absolute hardest to keep the community live in any way that I can. So we will still have many months of Battlefront left to come, and hopefully one day we can get Battlefront 3 as well. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of the update overall, what are your favourite parts and all that good stuff, and make sure to leave a like to help support the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Crush them! Make them suffer!